And yes, the Democrats are upset. They're
not
inveighing.
True. That this is
just
based
let me
on
finish
precedent.
1 second, Destiny. They're inveighing because they say we should be talking about the immunity case. Well, but part of the articulation of I just was reading the decision was that, look, this is the first time that you've got a president who's being prosecuted in this way. And that's the problem, because the vast majority of Americans, right, left, and center, have been saying in survey after survey that they view the prosecutions of Trump as primarily politically motivated.
Michael Knowles went on Piers Morgan Uncensored and took down an entire panel of woke idiots, including the woke streamer Destiny and Francesca Fiorentini, who formerly worked for the Young Turks but got fired because of how woke she was. And Michael Knowles absolutely tore this Piers Morgan panel to shreds, especially the woke ones, not including Tommy Loren, obviously. But when it comes to Destiny and Francesca Fiorentini, Michael Knowles wiped the floor with them. Let's get into this clip here where Michael Knowles destroys this entire woke panel here live on Piers Morgan Uncensored.
Criminal charges against him, right? But no one's talking about it. They're all talking about whether the guy currently in the White House can even know what day it is. That's the problem.
A lot of people would vote for a corpse over Donald Trump. That
well, they may have to.
Says more about Donald Trump than it does about Joe Biden. Let's go.
All right. Michael Knowles, apparently people will vote for a corpse over Donald Trump.
They will, and please let them do it. Let the partisan Democrats do it. I'm now all in on the Democratic rhetoric. The Democratic primary voters have made their decision. They want Joe Biden as their nominee. It would be an assault on the integrity of this country and on our sacred democracy if they replace him now. I can't wait to see him in all 50 states. At this point, obviously, the man is not up to the job. So someone else is running the country, whether that's Jill, whether it's Ron Klain, whether it's, I don't know, whether it's Barack Obama.
You know what's really interesting, Michael?
You know,
this is really interesting to me, this panel, because if we'd gone back, 3 months, you'd have all been shouting at each other, arguing about Trump, doing the two siding to the Democrat side here on the panel. You've been neutered by what's happened. I can feel that the luster has gone. The enthusiasm to beat up conservatives has just flown out of your bodies. I mean, there's not been one argument. You've all just sat there going, we agree, he sucks. Your own guy sucks. He's barely alive. You've lost your fight, haven't you? Biden has removed the fight from Democrats. That's what I'm seeing here.
Not.
Absolutely. Actually, I agree with that.
You agree?
I totally disagree. No, if Donald Trump is taking insane, again, the Supreme Court ruling today is unbelievable. The idea that instead on today's show, we're going to focus on whether or not Biden had a bad debate performance is just reflective of the I don't want to say agenda in a negative way, but of what you want to talk about today on this program. Like, I think that the decisions that are being made right now legislatively in the Supreme Court are more important, or that are being made in the Supreme Court are more important
that's happening?
than whether or not Biden has a bad.
You know why it's happening? Because Trump was able to put 3 judges on the court in 1 term. You know why that was? Because you put up a terrible candidate, Hillary Clinton, who was incredibly polarizing, very arrogant, very superior, and she got flatlined by Trump when no one saw it coming on the Democrat side. And secondly, some of your Democrat judges who should have known better decided they weren't going to resign. They weren't going to retire. And because of that, Trump was able to pack that court. So I'm afraid you reap what you sow. Just very bad politics by the Democrats.
One of those Supreme Court justices were literally lost by McConnell just robbing a president of the right to seat a judge. Nobody remembers that Garland was supposed to be on the Supreme Court for almost a full year. McConnell said, we're not going to have that hearing. That is indefensible.
Let me bring in Michael.
Oh, my God.
Tommy has to leave in a moment. So Michael, come to you, then come back to Tommy for a final wrap from her. But
dude, the fidgeting that Destiny does really just it makes me squirm. I don't like it. I don't know if the guy's on drugs or that's just how he naturally is. But it's so crazy how bad faith this guy is. It's ridiculous. And what I wonder, because I always say that I don't think Destiny is this dumb. I don't think you build a platform like he has by being a dumb person. I don't. I say the same thing about David Pakman and all these people. I think they play dumb because they understand where their audience lies, and audience capture is a thing and all that stuff. But I'm curious to see what you guys think. Do you think that Destiny is playing dumb, or do you think he genuinely believes these things that he's saying? Let's get into what Michael Knowles has to say here. He's about to absolutely cook Francesca and Destiny. Let's check it out.
Michael.
Destiny, the principle that you're articulating that a president should be able to put a judge on the court in an election year, or rather that you say Mitch McConnell violated, was a rule first articulated by Joe Biden in the 90s when he was trying to kill George Bush's judges. So obviously there was a decision today. It said that the president has some immunity for criminal acts or acts committed in his official capacity as president. And this is based on a 40-year precedent. It really goes all the way back to the Marshall Court. Really nothing should be surprising about this. And yes, the Democrats are upset. They're
not
inveighing.
true. That this is
just
based
let me
on
finish
precedent.
1 second, Destiny. They're inveighing because they say we should be talking about the immunity case. Well, but part of the articulation of I just was reading the decision was that, look, this is the first time that you've got a president who's being prosecuted in this way. And that's the problem, because the vast majority of Americans, right, left, and center, have been saying in survey after survey that they view the prosecutions of Trump as primarily politically motivated. They view this as kind of corrupt. And that's one of the reasons why Biden's poll numbers have been so bad for so long. And so they throw this Hail Mary to do a debate in June before either party has settled on a nominee, and it completely blew up in their face. And so no wonder people want to talk about it. You've got a political order that is fraying. You got a guy trying to put his opponent into an orange jumpsuit, and it turns out the guy who's trying to do that, it has applesauce for brains. No wonder people are concerned.
Look at Destiny's face right now, dude. He is so pissed. Let me make sure you can see the full thing. He's so mad, dude. He knows he's getting absolutely cooked, and it must be really frustrating. Like, let's imagine, like, put yourself in Destiny's shoes, and you are smarter than this, right? Like, you feel like you're smarter than this, but you're forced to say these things that you and hold these opinions and make these arguments that you don't fully believe in. And it just must be so frustrating because you're like, man, I know I'm wrong. I'm getting absolutely clicked by Michael Knowles, but I have to keep saying these things that I know are untrue because it makes me more money, because I appeal to the echo chamber that I've created with my left-wing audience. He has to do it. There was a lot of people whenever Donald Trump won the election, it was basically like an inflection point. It was basically like a crossroads or a fork in the road for many people on the left. And basically everybody on the left, right? You had two choices. You could go more towards the right wing and kind of give in to the direction that the tide is turning in and become more reasonable, or you could become more and more left wing because there's very much an audience for that and just strengthen the echo chamber that you had created. People like Destiny and Hassan and those sorts of people, Sam Cedar, those people, they all just went further left and just strengthened the echo chamber and just ignored the fact that everybody else is waking up. And then there's people like Anna Kasparian, Cenk Uygur, those sorts of people who started to wake up a little bit and started to call out the left for the nonsense that they've been doing, over the last 4 years and really for the longest time, but they've been focusing on what's happened in the last 4 years. I don't know if that's because they're genuinely waking up and they're realizing the mistakes that they've made, or if it's just because they see that there's an opportunity to be had for people who move towards the right wing. I don't know what the answer is, but I do know that Destiny, Francesca Fiorentini, those sorts of people, they've just gone further and further left and just played into those echo chambers and made them stronger. People like Michael Knowles if you're unlucky enough to meet someone like Michael Knowles on Piers Morgan Uncensored and have a debate with him, if you're one of those people like Destiny and Francesca Fiorentini, you're going to get cooked, as they just got cooked.
American people, a bit like the British, I think would be the same in this position. They can smell a political hit job. And the fact that the first case that was used against Trump to try and convict him and put him in prison involved a payoff to a porn star 20 years ago for a supposed one-night stand, or whether it happened or not, that just smelt to them like a massive overreach. Whether he did it or not, they didn't care. And so the idea that the first American president in history to ever be convicted of a crime in a criminal court is convicted over something so pathetic and trivial. The American people, the right-minded, reasonable people who are not in the kind of mad tribal ends of their parties, all went, well, that's ridiculous. And actually demeaning to the country. Tommy, I know you got to go. So final thoughts from you before we let you go, and then we'll carry on with with Francesca as the rose between two thorns afterwards. For me. But Tommy, your summary of where we are with this. What do you think is going to happen?
Yes.
Give me a roadmap to the election day.
Listen, I think they got to replace Joe. I don't know if it happens at the convention. I don't know if it happens after the convention. If they use that mechanism and the DNC has to get together and pull some strings, I would remind folks that don't think it can be done. Let's remember that the Democrats were able to overhaul our election system due to COVID in 2020 in a matter of months and nationalize mass mail-in voting. So I never underestimate a Democrat, though I will say in sitting with this panel today, it's easy to see how sad the Democrats are, the liberals are. It's easy to watch them crumble because their candidate quite literally is crumbling before our very eyes. It's a great day to be a Republican. It's not a great day to be a liberal, but I hope you guys stick with Joe and best of luck to you.
Tommy Laren, always great.
Yeah, just look at how pissed off Francesca Fiorentini and Destiny are right here. I mean, look, I'm not the hugest fan of Tommy Laren. I don't have anything against her or anything, but you could tell that she got under their skin right there, which was what the whole purpose of that little speech was. 100%. She did a good job at definitely making them angry. Look at their faces. And they're fuming. They're absolutely furious. And then you see Michael Knowles, who's just absolutely loving the fact that they're fuming. Let me know in the comments you guys think about Michael Knowles going on Piers Morgan Uncensored and absolutely cooking these woke idiots in Francesca Fiorentini and the woke streamer Destiny. Let me know in the comments you guys think about this whole Michael Knowles versus Destiny situation.